Hey everyone, this is Kathy the Vegan Prepper, and welcome to a day in my life. Do-do-do, do-do-do, vegan prepper. Do-do-do, do-do-do, vegan prepper. All right, we're just having a super simple breakfast now of some Irish soda bread and homemade apple jelly. Just hanging out. Oh yeah, and you're showing off your new jewelry you just made, huh? Oh, and your tattoos. Adam's mom sent a whole package of crafts and crafts and things for Easter. And so, yeah, she's showing those things off. She made this hat in school. It's very cute. But today I'm going to be just sort of taking care of some things and bringing you along. They're going to be making an Echinacea Tincture and many other things. So right now, actually, I am getting ready to finalize and post the Azure Standard haul video, which will come out soon, and I'll just sort of get along with our day. Are you excited? Yeah? Okay. Do you want to be in the video? Yeah? Okay. All right. Then I guess we'll come back when it's time to film some more. Do you have anything you want to say?
No.
Okay, all right. Getting ready to do my tincture. I'm using the methods outlined in this book, Making Plant Medicine by Richo Chuck. It's an incredible book. I'm linking it down below. It's not going to be like an affiliate link because I'm going to just link it direct to his website where you can buy it. I think it's easier to buy it that way than on Amazon. And then you're supporting him directly. And so, yeah, anyway, he's just incredible. I love this book. I love Richo Chuck and the work that he's doing. He also sells a lot of seeds if you're interested in growing your own herbs. So here we have the basic formula for a dry herb tincture. And so the ratio is 1:5, meaning 1 part herb by weight to 5 parts herb or 5 parts menstruum, which is the liquid, by volume. And it's ideally a mixture of 50% alcohol, 50% water. So to achieve that, I just use rum, which is not perfect. It's 46% alcohol. Like vodka, I think usually is 50-50. I don't know if it is or not. If you get 100 proof vodka, I think some vodkas are still 80. And so 80 proof would be only 40% alcohol. For the longest time, I just used brandy until I discovered that rum was a higher alcohol content, and it gets me closer to that kind of ideal general rule for a dry plant tincture of 50% alcohol, 50% water. When you're making a fresh tincture, it's actually pretty essential that you use a higher alcohol content, because as the plants tincture, they release liquid. Therefore, they dilute the solution, and you will end up lowering the alcohol content as more water is added to the tincture from the plants, if that makes sense. So for most of the time, I'm using a dry plant because I don't have a higher proof alcohol or the ability to make a higher proof alcohol, where you just sort of mix it with distilled water to get the correct proportions. Anyway, there is like a whole science to this thing. I know some people just like to do the folk method. I tend to like to do it with measurements. And so, yeah, I'm using this book. And basically, if you get that book, you will know everything that I know. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start off. First thing, we grind this. I'm going to grind it up in my Vitamix, and then I'm going to weigh it. And at that point, I will be able to calculate how much alcohol I'm adding to my Echinacea. All right, so I'm gonna tare this with the jar. Okay, so we are on the grams setting. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this. It's not, a perfect little meal. He says do it to like a fine cornmeal kind of thing. It's definitely not perfect, but it's more compact than it was. And so what do we have? 113 grams, still very close to what was on the package. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of math off camera and figure out whether or not this particular jar is going to be big enough. All right, so I did some math, and that is 565 milliliters now that I need, because you need the weight of the herb times 5, and that gives you, at least in grams, that gives you the volume in milliliters that you need of the menstruum. So 113 times 5 is 565, and I should be able to fit all of that in here just looking at the measurements on the side of the jar. There's 600 milliliters, and I'm pretty sure it'll all fit. So basically, I have to find the milliliter measurements on my measuring cup. I'm pretty sure that I can measure out 565. It'll be maybe not 100% precise, but I should be able to make that happen with this particular measuring cup. And I'm going to go ahead and do that again, probably off camera, since I have to be really careful about my measurements. Here's the first 500. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. That's another reason I love using rum, is because it just kind of smells amazing. Yeah, another 65 milliliters will fit easily. Last little bit. Now I will get a lid on that, and it will sit for 4 to 6 weeks, and that will be probably 6 weeks. And then after then I can strain it, and I will have a nice batch, pretty sizable batch of Echinacea tincture, for much cheaper than I would have spent if I purchased the tincture ready-made in the store. So this is the Echinacea that I got off of Azure Standard. It just came yesterday, and I'm making the tincture now. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get a lid on that and a label. Labels are super important. And then I will set it aside. I'll try to remember to shake it every day. I probably won't, but I'll set it aside, and in about 6 weeks, I'll have Echinacea tincture. Right, here's my label. I put the scientific name of the plant, and so I feel like that's really important to learn the scientific name of all of the plants. When you get into certain books, like really thorough, large collection of herbs, just for standardization, a lot of times those kinds of books will be listed by scientific name of the herb that you're looking for. So knowing that name is really important if you're searching out a certain herb. It's not like, so for Echinacea, we know that by its scientific name, but there's also multiple types of Echinacea. You've got like Angustifolia and Purpurea, which is what this one happens to be. There's also, oh gosh, I want to say Padilla, maybe. I don't know if that's correct or not, but there might be multiple types of the same plant that are used medicinally, and so it's important to know which one you have. But like I said, knowing the scientific name is good. For instance, if you want to look up nettles in one of the kind of more standardized books that is listed all by scientific name, you wouldn't know that you need to go to the U section unless you know that it's also, the scientific name is Urtica dioica. Same thing with like elderberry, it's S, Sambucus nigra. So when you're looking that up, knowing the scientific names is good. So just getting used to knowing those names, memorizing them along with the common names, can be very helpful for you in your furthering your studies if you decide to do that. Anyway, I also always list what the thing is in the jar. So this is tincture in rum. And so you would think, well, it's kind of obvious, this is a tincture. Well, but there are many different kinds of herbal preparations that you can leave steeping for several weeks, for oils, vinegars, oxymels. I'm sure there are many others. And so I always label not just what's in it, but what it is, so that I always know what's going on. And then I will label how much of the root I put in, how much of the plant material I put in, whether it was dry or fresh, how much of the menstruum, which is the liquid that goes on top, and then the date. And because just yesterday was the full moon, so we're still very close to the full moon, I put my little circle as the full moon. And I think I've talked about on the channel before, I really love to do my tinctures and my herbal preparations by the moon cycles, because it helps to keep me on track. Like I said, these things sit for weeks, and rather than having it be some arbitrary day that like comes and goes, I try to center my preparations kind of on or near full and new moons, so that I have basically this beautiful cosmic timer that God made keeping me on track. And so I know now, because this will sit for 6 weeks, So we have another new moon will be 2 weeks. The next full moon will be 4 weeks. And then one more new moon will be 6 weeks. And that's when I will decant. So anyway, that's why I like to put that. But regardless, I do also have the date so that I remember which full moon it was. And there you go. That is like 3.5 minutes of me talking about the label on my tincture. Oh my gosh. All right, so it has been over a week. It's April 14th. It's been over a week since I filmed the original video. I'm editing now, and I thought you guys might like a shot of the tincture a little over a week later. You can see the plant matter has absorbed alcohol quite a lot and has increased in size, which is partly why it's so important to do the shaking to make sure that the alcohol is touching as much of the plant as possible. If you didn't shake it, it would just expand and you'd get basically a lump of expanded plant matter down here, not distributed through the alcohol at all. You'd have like a layer of alcohol up at the top. So doing the shaking process keeps things moving, keeps the alcohol touching as much plant as possible, and gives you the strongest tincture possible. But yeah, that after a while, it might not be as essential to keep shaking, but it's still generally a good practice to shake it as often as possible. At least once a day is the ideal. But I forget a day here and there, but overall I try to pay attention and shake it at least once a day. Right. Here's a little garden update. We were just out here yesterday filling these up, but she wants to check again. You gonna move the potato? Okay, good. Anyway, so yeah, this is what everything looks like. Potatoes are getting huge. A lot of the seedlings are not doing the best. So I'm going to replant, I think the okra, I'm going to replant by seed. And I think I'm going to try to replant the watermelon as well. But the tomato is doing great. That's kind of in the middle right there. Yeah, it's okay, sweetie. There's still a lot left. And then obviously my kale are doing wonderfully. My Egyptian walking onions are growing, and it would not be a pleasant day outside without the barking of the neighbor's chihuahua. It just would not. So there you guys go. But I'm actually out here primarily. Do you want me to help you with that?
No, it's okay.
Did you get all the leaves out? Okay. All right, good. Sorry. I'm out here because our grapes are coming in beautifully. I feel a little bad. I meant to trim them, but I didn't. But anyway, we look to have a pretty decent grape harvest this year. I hope that you're seeing a whole bunch of baby grapes right now, because I cannot see a single thing on the screen of my phone. It is too bright, but hopefully I'm showing you some examples of baby grapes. And I love it. I can't wait. Looks like we're going to get another really good grape harvest this year. Last year we got really good harvest, more than we've ever gotten, and it looks like it's going to be like that again. But actually, I would like to harvest some of these leaves, and I'm going to dry them and make grape leaf tea. And I've never made dolmas yet, but I'm planning on getting some of the big leaves this year and actually doing some dolmas. I can't wait to try that out. It's one of my passions, one of my desires to really put to use the things I have in my yard in ways that I haven't used them before and don't commonly use them. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to do this year, is to really utilize these grape leaves, not only the grapes, but the grape leaves, because there's so many wonderful things that you can do with them. So anyway, yeah, there it is. I'm going to harvest some grape leaves, and then I'm also planning on harvesting some rosemary. And here are, I know there's a couple of you who love to see my rosemary bushes. So here is, there's actually 2 bushes here, very close together, but they're basically one bush now. And then there's 2 more over here that are a little smaller, but still growing up very well. Sage, honey, could you come here really fast and stand next to the rosemary bush so people can see like how big it is? It's pretty huge. She's pretty tall. I think she's like 4 feet tall. So yeah, these are pretty great bushes, and you can see how completely overgrown and crazy our yard is. We keep getting out here and weeding, and then it rains again. So we're entering our rainy time, and that's nice. Or we're leaving our rainy time. So we need to go ahead and get all this cleared out. And so we've cleared over here, but then again, it just keeps raining, and then it keeps being too wet to do anything. And then, yeah, you know how it goes. But anyway, we're working on all of that. But yes, I'm out here to harvest grape leaves and rosemary. What would you like to say?
I like the little white circles and the roses because they're cute little flowers.
Yes, you're right. They are really cute flowers. I love it.
Look, a lizard.
A lizard? Oh, I actually just saw a really beautiful big yellow and black butterfly. I'll see how much this ends up being, and I think we'll call it quits for now. Here's like the rosemary I gathered. It's time to get everything all rinsed and ready for what we're doing next. Just sort of, once things are rinsed, getting them out of the water, the leaves specifically, I'm gonna just lay them over on dehydrator trays and just lay them out and see, I don't know, just lay them out and then dehydrate them at like 95 degrees. I'm not sure that I'm going to do double layers. We'll have to see. We'll see how much space they start taking up. I didn't really get too many grape leaves as far as I can tell. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then I will show you what I'm planning on doing with the rosemary. Okay, so I actually forgot just now that I like to lay them upside down. And then that helps to sort of funnel off excess water. But also, I don't know, they just seem to not stick as dramatically. It just they seem to be like they create more space between themselves when they're upside down versus when they're the other way. So anyway, that's what I like to do. All right, I ended up getting 3 full trays and 1 partial tray. So we'll see. I think it'll probably fit in a quart jar maybe. I don't like to break the leaves up too much before I store them away. That's why I'm saying a quart. Like, honestly, it would be a small amount if I would crumble all the leaves. We'll see what I do, or what I decide I'm going to do. All right, here's your next update over a week later. I did end up crushing the leaves. I didn't have any clean quart jars, and I needed to empty my dehydrator. So I just basically squashed them in. I didn't crumble them before I put them in. I just sort of laid them inside, and then as we were, needing to squash more inside, I was pushing, and there was a lot of crumbling happening. So basically it's okay. The larger the pieces are when you store them, the longer they last. But it's fine. I'll just feel extra motivated to get through them and actually use them in tea. So that's fine. But yeah, I just thought I'd show them after a week or so. Sage wanted to show her little Easter craft she was doing. She's coloring this beautiful thing. Again, my mother-in-law sent a whole bunch of crafts and stuff for Easter, so she's been doing that. And so these are all the various markers that came with these little crafts. So she is coloring this Easter wreath and did it. You want to talk about what you did?
I did the red and the orange and the yellow and the green and the blue.
All right. And why were you making it in that order?
Because I was like coloring it because I forgot the pink. I have pink too.
Yeah. And you were coloring it to look like what?
Like a rainbow.
Yeah, there you go. It was a rainbow. Very nice. You're doing an excellent job.
tincture.
All right, here is all the beautiful rosemary that I harvested, all rinsed and ready to go. So I have it because I'm getting ready to make more rosemary bundles. Basically, I know it looks like a smudge stick. That's not what I'm intending for it to be. It's an herb bundle, which I burn, and we use the smoke to keep mosquitoes away. I haven't found a single repellent or essential oil or whatever that seems to do better than this at keeping away mosquitoes. I was originally making them as a natural means of bug repellent, like for my plants, to light them up and let the smoke go over the plants to hopefully keep away pests. But I ended up noticing that I wasn't getting bitten by mosquitoes when I was using it. And so I don't know, I just noticed that. And ever since, I've been making bundles of rosemary for mosquito repellent. It's just a natural mosquito repellent. And that's what I'm intending to use it for. I know, like I said, it does look like a smudge stick, but I know smudge sticks are specific to Native American spirituality, and I'm not trying to step on that or even utilize it. But the burning of bundles of herbs is a pretty universal thing across cultures. And so I'm just using it as kind of a practical thing in this case. And so that's one of my favorite uses. I love finding uses for the plants that help me not have to buy other things. Now, if we're leaving the house or going somewhere, I'll try some, essential oil thing. I don't make my kids run around smelling like campfire smoke, even though I love that smell. I'm not forcing them to do that. But yeah, this is the best. So like for working in the yard or being in the yard, like after the rains have come, like I talked about, we've had our rainy season, and then the mosquito population explodes. This helps us to exist outside without getting bitten. It's kind of miraculous. Oh, and now Sage is back. You want to talk about your pretty picture again? Oh, you added the pink.
I add the pink and the red and the orange and the yellow and the green and the black.
Yeah, it's hard to tell where your finger's going, huh?
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time. Okay, good job. It's beautiful. Thank you, honey. Making these bundles, I was originally saving the strings off of my my bags, my bulk bags, and I have many of them saved over here. Unfortunately, this is not a good string to use for the bundle, and I will show you why. Basically, it is not 100% cotton. You need to use a string that's 100% cotton, or you end up with a melty potential kind of disaster on your hands. So I'll go ahead and show you how you test whether or not your string is 100% cotton. I still have these over here for uses, random spots in the garden, whatever. When you want to tie stuff up, you just need a little string. I still have these, but they are no longer being saved for the purposes of making my bundles. And yeah, I will show you how you test whether or not it's appropriate for use in burning. The simplest way to test is honestly to see if it's appropriate for burning is just to burn it. And so hopefully I can film this without burning myself. But basically, you burn it. I'm going to blow it out now. But do you see, sorry, I don't think that even was on camera at all. Do you see that it's formed like a ball at the end of kind of molten stuff? And you'll see as it burns even, let me move it up a bit. I'm getting scared. I'm being dangerous for you guys. Okay. Oh, there goes my desk. But do you see that it's stretchy material? It's goopy. That's because it's basically plastic. And so it's just melting. So this is not a cotton string like I wish it were. It's more of like probably a cotton poly blend, or it might just be a pure pure poly. And so it is not appropriate, as you can imagine, for doing a bundle. Unfortunately, I didn't know that. So I've made several bundles like this that end up with random dangerous bits of melty plastic on them. And so it's not my favorite. So I'm kind of planning, that's another reason I'm planning on making some fresh ones, is I want to go ahead and probably just cut the strings off of these and then like compost these or something, or maybe rewrap them with a string that will burn safely. But yeah, I want to make a set of bundles that have a safe string. And so basically I'm just going to be using cotton yarn like you use for dishcloths, and that works perfectly. Here is just a cone of cotton yarn. Like I said, it's just for dishcloths. It's 100% cotton. And so you'll see that it behaves differently when it burns. I'm still like nervous about this. It's just burning. It's not melting on itself at all. And then when it finishes burning, sorry, it's not very clear. When it finishes burning, it's just burned. There's no balls of anything at the end. And so this is a fiber that will burn cleanly, and it's appropriate for making your bundles. Just make sure before, like I said, like I was assuming, because they kind of look cottony, that those tiny strings on like the Azure bags or bulk food bags, I was assuming that they were cotton, but obviously they're not really. And so it's more thumbs up from Sage. So it is just important to check that out. And so yeah, I just thought I would really like emphasize that because I can't help myself. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start actually bundling these up and try to show you the process as much as I can. Sage finished her wreath. It looks beautiful. Good job, Sage. Oh, you want to show off your bunny hat again? Good job, honey. It looks really good. Okay, I have my little bundle of herbs ready to tie up now. So I've basically just taken a length of yarn and split it to give myself a thinner string. And then I just sort of tie a knot. And I'm going to, so you sort of put your bundle together, try to aim for a similar thickness throughout. And some you'll flip this way and that way, and you just sort of feel it. Ultimately, there's not like a super wrong way to do it, I don't think. You just play with it. I mean, obviously, this one just looks like I just went with the curve of the plant, and I think that one still ended up, you know, being pretty great. They do tend to also dramatically shrink in size as they dry. Yeah. But basically, I'm going to take the string and I will just sort of pull gently. We're gonna start putting it together basically as we go, and it's just this motion where you come up and you, oopsie, now I'm like, wait, did I just ruin this? No, okay. You come up and you're crisscrossing as you go. One of the things that I have learned is I like to tie a few knots as I go, just because as the cord burns, it'll have a tendency sometimes to just want to unravel, and sometimes it'll want to unravel completely. So I have learned that you tie a few knots as you go, and that ends up working out really well. And so I'm just going to sort of do this. It's really hard to be doing it kind of in the frame that I have. So I basically am just going to keep kind of moving up, wrapping as I go, and hopefully this ended up being a useful visual. So you kind of want to do it firmly, but not like super tight, but it is going to reduce as it dries. So anyway, I'm going to keep going and wrap it and show you what we have when we're done. Here is how the first bundle turned out. So you basically do one layer of wrapping and then you do a second layer of wrapping as you go back the other way. It can be easier to wait on the knots. I was forgetting, this is like, I forget because it's been a little while since I've made these. So if you do your first wrap, kind of focusing on just wrapping up, and then your second wrap is where you can come through and put together the knots. And then your second wrap with the knots will still be tying down that first wrap that I was talking about, would have a tendency to want to just completely unravel and the whole thing can fall apart. And so, yeah, there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and get that into the dehydrator and just make however many other bundles I have in here. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and see how it goes. All right, I ended up with 4 bundles total. Yay! So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick 2 at a time on my dehydrator trays. I'm obviously using my Nesco at this point. This is gonna need to dry for a couple of days at least at the 95-degree temperature. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get the top on this, get that started, and I'm very happy with that. I will not be filming, I don't think, when these are done. So I'm gonna go ahead and plan on just making a community post with pictures that shows what everything looks like when it's finished out of the dehydrator today. So look for that. I believe this is the last update. So basically here are my old bundles. I thought it was just kind of interesting to see how much greener the newer ones are because they're fresh. These actually still smell really good when they burn. They still smell very strongly of rosemary. And so the only reason I haven't really used them much is because of those strings that just melt. I used to always use cotton yarn like this, but I was trying to be more zero waste using those strings. So yeah, you've already seen and heard about those strings, so we don't need to talk about it anymore. But basically I got my 4 bundles. One of them I kind of already lit just to get it started a little bit. But basically the gist of how this works is I have like safety in mind this time, a little ceramic dish down here. You sort of just light it up and it typically lights up pretty easily. And then you might need to use a little bit more fire than, I don't know, like at first it seems like it takes a little bit more, but basically it'll burn. You can kind of blow it out and then it'll smoke beautifully and it smells amazing. This smells like, I'm just smelling it right now. Oh my gosh. Excuse me, but it is still smoke, of course. It smells amazing. It's like, it's just rosemary, but like, I don't know. It's just a really wonderful smell. So I encourage you to try it if you haven't tried it before, if you have access to rosemary bushes. This is a great way to do it. And so, like I said, you just sort of have it and you see it smokes for a while. If you want it to smoke for a long time, and you don't want to have to relight it, because it is, of course, going to go out pretty quick. There, see, I'm blowing on it. And that will kind of keep it going. But in lieu of blowing on it, you can just sort of take a fan. And like, I'm just using my fingers right now because I don't have a fan. You can take a fan and blow and use the fan to be, fanning that, that little coal so that it'll keep smoking. And that's what I do. I fan the smoke on whoever's working outside, or if we're going outside, like I said, in our backyard, I just make sure that this thing gets going really strongly. And then we just cover ourselves in the smoke. And then we end up not getting bitten by mosquitoes. It's like literally the best. I know it seems strange, probably looks weird. I feel a little weird even sharing it, honestly, but like, seriously, this is the best thing I've ever found for keeping mosquitoes off. And yeah, hopefully it ends up being useful to you guys as well. Clearing freezer space, and so for lunch we're having some vegan noodles, which normally people would microwave, but I heat them up in my bamboo steamer on these plates, and some boba. I have boba packets too in the freezer, some old ones and these old noodle packets, and it's like, you know what, let's just go ahead and start eating them. I keep saving them for special something, I don't know what, like, why do we save things? And I don't know, the thing never comes. So we'll do this, and then once our bobas are gone, we'll make some smoothies to sort of make up for some of the nutrients here that we're not really getting. But yeah, it's just these yummy kind of noodle packet things. And then our bobas. So I got the black tea one and Sage got the taro flavor. Anyway, they are vegan. We just make them with almond milk. And yeah, anyway, that's what we are having for our lunch. So Sage did fall asleep, as you saw, and I'm getting ready now. I did sit with her for quite a while and let her sleep on me, and I just sort of watched a couple of YouTube videos and stuff, but now I'm up. I'm going to, it is Thursday, so I'm going to do some of the cleaning tasks that are on my Organized Mom Method house cleaning schedule. And so before I start cleaning and stuff, I actually like to kind of rinse my face, get some water on there, get some moisturizer. I like to put on a pair of earrings. I don't know why, it just makes me feel happy. But then I do also like to cover or get a scarf around my head because my hair is so wispy, kind of no matter what I do, it ends up escaping. And especially like I'm gonna be scrubbing my floor a little bit and scrubbing some cabinets. I don't want to deal with hair in my face. And so I do like to put on these like headscarf things. And so I like to wear that while I'm cleaning. Again, yeah, primarily to keep my hair out of my face. And yeah, so I'm gonna get to doing that. Totally unexciting stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna take care of my house. All done. I had gotten down and scrubbed everything like Cinderella with my bare hands. And then we've got our tried and true standby lentil potato soup in the Instant Pot. And I will link that recipe down below. It's our favorite. We make it pretty much all the time, especially nights like tonight when I have used up pretty much all of the dinner time doing cleaning tasks instead. So that's a time that it comes in super handy to have that recipe in my arsenal. But yeah, everything scrubbed, squeaky clean. Kitchen is amazing. Yeah, so kind of while that's cooking now, I'm just gonna go hop into the shower. But I think actually first I realized, because tomorrow, although I don't think I'm gonna film it because I know that this has already gotten pretty long, tomorrow I'm going to be working on some aloe vera stuff, I think. It's been a long time. I have not, oh, Sage is waking up. I have not done a lot with my aloe vera. And I have a really nice aloe vera patch outside. And I thought I would show you my aloe vera. I don't think I've ever shown you my aloe vera patch before. Have I mentioned mosquitoes? This is really not the time to be out here, so I have to do this quick. It is truly like dusk, twilight. Now I'm like, do I have distinguishing features behind me? I don't think so. Anyway, over here behind our glorious weeds and wild cilantro. Okay, fine, I'll show you my weeds because there's no way you're gonna see the aloe vera unless you also see my weeds. You kind of already saw them. But one of the perks of growing the way that I grow, I let stuff run wild on purpose. I do. I act like I'm upset about the weeds, but I'm not. I do it because I feel like it's expected of me. Anyway, I have wild cilantro. I don't know if you can see. One of them is bolting right there. So this right here is not a weed. This is a bolted cilantro plant in my yard because cilantro has basically gone feral in my yard. And this happens every year. I get wild cilantro popping up everywhere. So you see, this is cilantro, this is cilantro. So I can actually just harvest from my ground, and I have cilantro now. But every single time this happens, I let it bolt, I let them go to seed, and then they spread seed, and then I end up with more wild cilantro. So hopefully eventually my whole yard will just be full of cilantro, and it's really getting that way. I've already seen several plants, but I had not seen this little patch over here because I haven't been over here yet lately to see the aloe vera. So anyway, my aloe vera is back here. These are my brand new, well, new to me rain barrels, and it's back here. This huge patch of aloe vera, which goes under the tree and then like back behind here. And so aloe vera does amazingly well here. Oh my gosh, look, and now here's some wild lettuce. This is romaine lettuce that I didn't know about, just growing out in the randomness as well. Anyway, so I have this gorgeous aloe vera back here. And contrary to what a lot of people would think, because it's kind of pokey or whatever, they think it's cactus-like, aloe vera is actually a tropical plant. And so it needs a lot of water to flourish and do well. And actually here in my area, it seems to flourish the best in shade. It does not want so much to be in the sun. It won't die in the sun, but it won't get, you know, big and gorgeous like this beautiful thing right here. And so basically I let it just kind of go crazy in the shade, and occasionally I'll come and I'll pick small plants out. I'll give them away or I'll plant them elsewhere. And yeah, so I want to go ahead and get in here and, like I was talking about, you know, utilizing some of these plants I have in my yard, because I've gotten myself pretty well set up to just have a lot of really wonderful things out here, like wild lettuce and wild cilantro. It smells so good down there, by the way. It smells like cilantro. But I need to start actually utilizing some of the stuff that I have. So much of the work that I have done personally out here has been about, and I'm like, is that? No, I think that's a midge. I'm getting suspicious. We have midges as well. Look up the difference between a mosquito and a midge. So sometimes I don't know what I'm looking at. But anyway, I have tried to set up environments where plants will just like grow without me doing anything. That is my goal, ultimately, to have my backyard be kind of like nature, where nobody plants the stuff in nature, it just grows. And so if you can figure out the spot in your yard where things flourish kind of on their own, and then create yourself kind of a perennial, almost permaculture thing, because this is like shaded perfectly. And now that we have rainwater, Adam's kind of makeshift rainwater system dumps out over here, so there's always a lot of moisture over here. And then because it's so shaded, like it's protected from morning and afternoon sun, now stuff is just seriously going to town over here that loves it moist. And so that's a good thing to do to get your yard set up to where it will just grow. I literally never water these, ever. I have never put a drop of water over into this area, and this is what we have. But like I said, we have had a lot of rain recently, so that's another reason why I want to get in here and do this kind of ASAP before it does dry up a bit during summer, but kind of while it's gorgeous and big and green, I want to harvest and freeze a bunch of the gel for use in whatever first aid stuff. So sorry, I'm just talking here in front of this patch. I'm not sure that I'm even going to include this in the video, but here we go. And that's kind of what I would love, or just to love to share, is, you know, permaculture principles, and trying to get stuff so that it will just grow without you. And that's kind of my number one goal. Obviously I have my bed, I have my stuff, but there's a lot of stuff in the yard that I've tried to set up like this. My grapes are actually like that. Those gorgeous grapes you saw. I do water those sometimes, but almost never. I try to get stuff set up so that it will just grow without me. Anyway, all right, back inside. All right, here we go. We got dinner. It's that same lentil potato soup you guys have seen a million times. I'm sure you're sick of it by now, but we're not, obviously. And then I actually only had a couple of bananas left, so we didn't do smoothies earlier. I had smoothies made for tonight. So there's 3 smoothies this size and then 1 for Sage. And yeah, that is our dinner. Oh, along with our experimental soda bread, which turned out great. I'm gonna have this on the channel pretty soon. I'm calling it my survival soda bread. It's like from whole wheat berries, ground up obviously. And anyway, you can just wait until it comes out. I won't talk about it all right now, but yay, Adam is home. Sure, you're ready to eat.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you again so much for watching. I really hope that you got something out of this video today. And yeah, I guess we're gonna tuck in, and Sage is actually watching Mulan right now. So I'm probably gonna watch Mulan. It's an awesome movie. And yeah, I guess that's all. Talk to you guys later. Bye.